All right, today we're jumping into a topic that is just everywhere right now, and it's creating a ton of both excitement and, let's be honest, a lot of confusion. We're talking about crypto regulation in the United States. It's a really complex world, but figuring out the rules, or the lack of them, is absolutely crucial for America's digital future.
And let's kick things off with a question I bet you've seen online. Can you actually go out and buy a house with crypto? I mean, we've all seen the headlines flying around about using XRP or Bitcoin for real estate. But what is the real story behind the hype? Let's dig in.
Okay, so this is where we need to separate the social media buzz from the actual, on-the-ground financial reality. What's really happening with these so-called crypto mortgages is fascinating, for sure, but it's not quite what those splashy headlines want you to believe.
And this really boils down to one key difference. The hype is all about buy homes with XRP. Simple, right? But the reality is much more nuanced. It's about using assets like Bitcoin or USDC as collateral for a loan. And trust me, those are two very, very different things.
So here's the real story. What we're talking about is a crypto-collateralized loan, not a direct crypto mortgage. There's this new product from Better and Coinbase that lets you borrow against your crypto for a down payment, but, and this is the important part, the final closing on the house still settles in good old US dollars.
Okay, so let's just lay out the hard facts here. This product, it uses Bitcoin and USDC for collateral. Despite all the online chatter, XRP isn't officially part of the deal. And crucially, existing Fannie Mae rules say that any virtual currency has to be converted to US dollars before closing. So you see, this isn't about replacing the old system. It's more like a clever bridge being built between two financial worlds, one designed to work within the rules we already have.
You know, this whole mortgage confusion thing, it's not just some random one-off issue. It actually shines a huge spotlight on a much bigger problem right at the heart of the digital asset space in the US. Let's call it the regulatory void.
Which just makes you ask, right? Why is all of this so confusing in the first place? Why can't it just be straightforward?
And the answer? Well, it's actually pretty simple, but the consequences are massive. The United States just doesn't have a clear, comprehensive regulatory framework for digital assets. So you have all these companies trying to innovate, but they're basically operating in a thick fog of legal uncertainty.
And look, this isn't just some abstract idea. As U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent wrote in the Wall Street Journal, this uncertainty has really predictable consequences. Capital, talent, and innovation, they're starting to pack their bags.
So where are they going? To places like Abu Dhabi and Singapore. And why there? It's simple. Because firms over there know the rules. They know how to register, what standards to meet, and how to operate legally. The benefits of building in America are starting to get outweighed by the risk of not knowing what the rules are going to be tomorrow.
Okay, but it's not all doom and gloom. There is a major effort underway in Washington to change all this. It's a proposed piece of legislation, and it's designed to bring that certainty, that clarity, back to the U.S.
And that brings us to the Clarity Act. I mean, the name pretty much says it all, right? Its whole purpose is to provide clarity. This is the bill that's meant to create a federal rulebook for digital assets, to finally end all the guesswork and give the industry a stable foundation to build on.
And the goal here, it's bigger than just crypto. It's really strategic. It's all about making sure that the next generation of financial technology, of development and investment, is anchored right here in the United States and not somewhere overseas.
But as you can probably guess, getting this bill passed is not that simple. Like any major piece of legislation, it's hit a pretty significant roadblock, and it's revealing some powerful competing interests in this new financial world.
So what's the big holdup? Well, it all comes down to a fight over stablecoins. Specifically, you've got the traditional banking industry on one side and the crypto industry on the other, and they are clashing over whether you can pay interest or rewards on them. The banking lobby is pushing hard to ban the practice because they want to protect their traditional savings products. And this one single dispute has stalled the whole bill's progress for months.
Okay, so let's pull back from the political weeds for a second. Because beyond all the legislative infighting, the core purpose of this act is still critically important for the future of the American economy. And Treasury Secretary Bessent really nailed it. In a market that can be incredibly volatile, clear rules aren't about holding back innovation. They're about giving, in his words, great comfort to the market, creating the kind of stability that's needed for real, long-term growth and investment.
And that, right there, brings us all the way back to the beginning. From the confusion over a crypto mortgage all the way to a high-stakes legislative battle in Washington, the crucial point is exactly the same.
It's about providing a clear roadmap for how to operate legally in the U.S. That's what innovators need, and that's what the Clarity Act is trying to deliver.
So this is the question we're left with. This technology, it's not waiting around. The global competition is fierce. The choice for American lawmakers seems pretty clear. Is the U.S. going to step up and write the rules for the future of digital assets? Or is that future going to be written and built and anchored somewhere else? It's a question we're thinking about.